I honestly needed the ASMR even more than you did. It's not a competition. I know we're not competing. Come on. Low vibration. No, I think healthy competition is good, but I'm saying like we're not going to compete because we're a team. Teamwork. If you win, I win. If you succeed, I succeed. Pinky. That's the thing. That this baby microphone started this channel, and I have to admit that I always had a bogus setup. Truthfully, but it's part of the charm. You know what I mean? It's a little charming, but what do we think? Summer 2024 elevation? You know, I was away from the channel for a little while. I know it's been a couple weeks, and I used to post like 2 times a week in the beginning, and to me, when I was doing that, to be completely honest with you, it was to see if I was able to be consistent in the YouTube format, because I know I can be consistent with my relationships, with especially my fitness, because I've been the fitness for almost a decade now. I started very, very young, you know. Insecurities as a teenager really got the best of me and made me the fitness today. So shout out to the teenagers and the insecurities that comes with being a teenager. Oh my gosh. Although I felt, you know, like, I guess the kind of teenager I was not really insecure, but competitive. Competition. And this is why, like, I don't know, when I was talking about us not competing, it's something that really changed my life, because there are so many good team players out there, and not everything has to be a competition. And I don't even compete with myself anymore, which I used to do. Imagine that. That was a prison in my head. It was a prison with some bed sheets and some water and a closed bathroom and some friends too. It was a 21st century prison with Uber Eats. But okay, so hear me out. The reason I still have this bogus setup, and that's why I was asking you as a teammate, are we leveling up? Is it time to level up the channel? Be honest. I was waiting for you to push me to do it, because I know that for me, a little tripod, a little blue Yeti, and a little hair cap for the blue Yeti. He's bald. He's actually bald. Don't tell him that I told you. And I'm good to go. But the reason, okay, that I'm thinking about all of this is because right now I am on the go. I'm on the run, like Young Thug would say. But I'm not running away from the cops. I'm traveling. Yay. Oh my gosh. 21st century prison. We don't know her anymore. No. So I'm traveling, and I want to take you through what this represents for me, like as a journey. It's so meaningful. I love hyping up what I'm about to say, but honestly, okay, you're gonna get it. So personally, I left my mom's place when I was 18. And when I left, it was the best thing I've ever done. So if you're under 18 right now, I would say make it one of your goals and challenges to live on your own as soon as possible and figure it all out as you go. I literally had $200 to my bank account, and I was like, I'm just gonna figure it out. I'm just gonna figure it out. Moving cities, I'm just gonna figure it out. And the reason I'm saying this is because at that time, when I was 18, when I was able to finally move out legally, yes, it was life-changing and it was a challenge, but it was also on the fight or flight. Like, am I going to be able to make it? Will I be able to generate money, find an apartment? Who's going to want to rent an apartment to me, little 18 years old with no husband that has a generous income yet? Or mom to co-sign or parent to co-sign me? You know, I went to visit apartments and I remember that honestly, I had to compete because there were couples out there and they both make a huge salary and I was there 18 years old. So what did I do? I arrived early. Always arrive early. And B, show the best of yourself. Personality on display. Everything is funny and you smile a lot. And I ended up finding the best place for me and a girlfriend at the time. I originally moved out with a girlfriend, just a friend from high school, but then I eventually moved on my own very early as well. And that was like a soul-searching journey. I remember like not knowing what was gonna happen. That's when my faith in life, myself, God, spiritual entities, the power of connecting with the source really came through to me. But I was on fight or flight because I need to make this work and I still need to finish school and eventually start university and all of that. And will I be able to make it? That was always the question. Now, I took some time, to build myself up. And I am in a position where I am making the same choice, but it's coming from a place of personal challenge. You know what I mean? And this time it's not a competition, it's not insecurity, it's not trying to prove something to myself. This time it's me dancing with life and asking, how good does it get? What is it that I have to see that I haven't had the chance to witness yet? Who is it that I'm going to meet? What is going to happen? And trusting in the process. So I'm on the run. I'm traveling, that's what it is. So long story short, this is why I still have my bogus setup going on. I'm talking little tripod. I got this tripod in Australia, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I would lie about a tripod, but the bar is low. Recently, I realized that people will lie about anything. But the kind of lie that frustrates me the most is the lies that people do to pretend that they are like you, to get close to you, to make you believe that they're going to be your friends, that they care about you, and then they don't. I hate when people think that I am stupid. That's the thing. I don't hate it when people think I'm stupid, matter of fact. I know it's gonna continue to happen and it can be advantageous sometimes, and also let them. But I hate when it's someone that is trying to get close to me, that is trying to build a relationship, a friendship with me, that did not understand. Why do you think I'm stupid? That's a question to ask. And these are the lies that really annoy me the most. Look, you can lie on your resume, you can lie about what you had for dinner, because maybe your gluten-free journey that you're just taking on is not really because you're intolerant, but because you just want to be skinnier, no acne, and you don't feel like explaining yourself. So you're just saying, I am gluten intolerant. That's a lie that I can stand by. But if you're saying to me, I'm going to help you out, I have all these ideas that I can elevate your life by doing so, and you don't act on that, trust me, I will not be thinking about it day in and day out and waiting and hoping. But there is a secret drawer in my head for people that think I'm stupid, and I'm gonna pull it out at the most unexpected time. There's so much that I've been wanting to chat with you about. There's so much that has been happening. Oh my goodness. But here we are. We are relaxing. We are chilling. And you know, for every person that thinks that you are dumb, there are a lot of people that understand that you are bright. And those are the people we shall focus on. So I'm traveling. How exciting. PSA, what is your favorite country in the world and why? And your favorite city and why? And no, this is not a quiz to get your data. I will not ask for your email at the end of the survey. Honestly, maybe I should, but I won't this time. And look, I'm asking this because I'm really flowing with life right now. I have, of course, a plan, but life, everyone has their own way in life, and I know for sure that the more I want something a specific way and it has to happen this way and this and that, the more I do that, the more life shows me that I don't know anything. Furthermore, I am wrong. On top of that, I do not know what I need. In addition to all of this, I don't even know myself. And to top it all off, it is not going to work. I'm telling you, if I just pull it out of my brain to like plan everything out, God is looking at me and he's asking, Masha, why do you think you are me? Why do you not leave me space to act in your life and guide you and be a part of the journey? Whatever kind of spirituality you flow with, you know, if you are a believer, if you are a spiritual person, no matter your belief system or your faith, I will tell you this. And this is my personal journey with spirituality, but I guess give it some room in your life. Like, plan most of it, but give it a little room so that life can actually surprise you and bring you greatness that you did not even expect, because how could you know? Your life is going to be so amazing, but if you already knew how, you would already be living it. And so therefore, there's a lot that you don't know about what good and great is about to happen, and you have to give it some space and some room for it to happen organically, to step into your life like baby feet on the sand, like a little bird on a branch. You know, I used to think, oh, I don't really want to have children and babies, and you know, I'm still very young for that. Shout out to the people that had kids. Shout out to the moms out there. Shout out to the fathers out there. Shout out to you guys if you are present in your kid's life. Shout out to you guys. I used to think, yeah, I don't really like children like that. But I'm not gonna lie. Something came over me, and now I think kids are really adorable. The truth is that I have a half brother now that is significantly younger than I am. And I'm living through the sisterhood that I never had. Like, I'm the big sister now. It's crazy. And a lot of people, when they meet me, well, online, a lot of people that know me from online and then meet me IRL, they think I'm a big sister because they're like, wow, you're so nurturing, blah, blah, blah. Truth is, I was Ray's only child, but I was always my own big sister. You know what I mean? Like, I understood really quick that people don't have your best intentions, but I wasn't like over the top about it, where I'm paranoid, or, you know, I learn with experience. I'm gonna trust someone once, and if they fail my trust, maybe I'm gonna try a second time because it's the first time that it's happening to me. But then I kind of learn better, and then the next person, it's one time deal, and the next after I can ask better questions before getting close to them, so that I don't get close to people who actually hate me. And then the next person, I can even read the body language. I'm a wizard. I'm a body language wizard, and I'm a relationship wizard too. And you guys might think, what do you know about relationship? You're so young, blah blah blah. Well. The first relationship you have is with yourself. And that one, we are tight. And we've always been tight. That little girl, she was never neglected by me. Oh, she had her fun. She was, you know, if she had a dream, I was going for it. And all the dreams I had as a kid, I made them happen. Not to say that I had many dreams as a kid, because I was really into animals, especially like koalas and cats. No, I wasn't really into cats, not gonna lie, because my mom was allergic. Rabbits, I was really into rabbits. I know the term in French for this one, so, and it's a bad word in English, the name of this animal. I don't know if I can say it because my channel is more important to me. My channel is more important to me than sharing which animal I was into as a kid, you know. So let's just say rabbit, and like hamsters. I had some dreams as a kid, but honestly, you're so present when you're a kid. You're not really thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have a Lambo when I'm 21, 22, I'm gonna have a mansion by 25, 26. You know, I was just so present in the moment. And so one of my first goals ever, when I was more so like a teenager still, like very, very early 20, actually that's a funny story, because my first business mentor, I had a couple. I had two. Is that a couple? Couple is 3+ or 2+? I don't know. The first one, at some point, he said, you know, Masha, you work, but what's the goal? And at the time, I was like, I mean, I just saw my mom working herself like crazy. Even my dad, you know, he sacrificed a lot for the sake of working and giving himself a better life. So I was like, hey, I don't really know. And he said, you need a goal, you need to find a goal. And I was like, okay. And basically, I searched for a vision board, and I'm like, what if my goal is to hug a koala? Is it so wrong? Like, do I need to dream of a mansion and stuff right now? Is it so wrong? So I do a vision board of me hugging a little koala, and you know, this totally happened. The koala was big too. It was a fat one. And matter of fact, the reason koalas can chill on you like that is because they think that you are a tree. They lost the plot. They was thinking that I was a tree, but I didn't tell him because it was a daddy koala. And he was heavy, and I do lift at the gym, and he was a heavy one. He was a thick boy. But anyways, that was like one goal. That was my first time making a vision board and having a goal. And I was like, why do I need to have a goal? Like, well, the truth is that honestly, everything in life, I'm gonna wait for this plane to respectfully leave. It's a helicopter, actually. I just saw it. My first goal as a kid, I wish I had some videos, and I know my dad still has them, so I could ask him. Maybe one day, like in my testimonial, 20 years down the line. But I loved doing short videos, and especially role-playing a grandma. I do not know why. People say I'm an old soul, but I was not just the old soul. I was the grandma in all my skits. All my friends and I, we loved role-playing grandma at the grocery store. That was my favorite. I don't know what was the obsession with being the grandmom, the grandmother. But we were filming and filming and filming. My family and I, my parents, and I would force them, and they were happy to do it and comply because I'm the boss. We would film skits and stuff, and I remember in I think it was like high school, now people are starting to talk about I want to be a firefighter, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, that's crazy. Like, people already know what they want to do, and I was like, what do I want to do? And I was like, I want to be a YouTuber. And back then, when I was in high school, it wasn't cool. It wasn't seen as cool because people were like barely starting to make money on YouTube. It was almost underground. But not too underground. But I saw the vision, and I was like, I want to be a YouTuber. Point blank period. That's what I want to do. I want to do my grandma skits as a YouTuber. Point blank period. I think that by high school I kind of moved on from the grandma skits, but I was still into doing skits. I remember I did some videos, like posted on Facebook at the time, and it was like me doing some sarcastic skits about coming out as an anime character, and I was really ahead of my time, but I always knew I wanted to do this. So the beauty is that now I understand why I've always wanted to do it, and it's allowing me the freedom to travel and explore and see the world and meet people. And by the way, if you are in Los Angeles, if you are in the United States and you are a creator, you do ASMR, you stream, you do cool things, slide in my DMs, because I'm looking to collab with people, and I don't think it's optimal to just say it like that low key in the middle of a video that's 20+ minutes long. I can see now that I've been rambling for a moment. But what I really want to say with this is that I had to make this happen for the little girl that I was. I had to make her dream happen, and I didn't really care how it was going to happen. It just happened. I had some passions when I was in high school, and one of them was makeup. And this is why my makeup is so flawless every time I record or I go on TikTok. You know what I mean? My eyeliner is on fleek. You can see the wing. It's almost flying away. The base looks fire. The lips, natural beauty. You know what I mean? It's all there. The brows, it looks natural, but it just comes from that passion. And at the time I thought, I really want to be like a makeup guru. Oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't too attached to the idea, and it ended up being what it is today. And I'm so happy that it ended up this way, because I'm not gonna lie, if I would have had a makeup channel, I think that at some point I would have disliked it because of many reasons. It's such a judgmental industry, the beauty industry. And you think that this is close up, but ASMR also is a very close up kind of game with the video where you see yourself up close. But then with the naked pore, putting on the makeup, all of that, I feel like it's not the healthiest thing for my brain. I'm very happy with the freedom and the exploration and the power of ASMR. See, we can just chill, ramble, bundle all of my favorite activities, which is just chatting, making friends. Like, you know, we're literally just chilling right now. And do some acting if I want. I could do an ASMR makeup if I want. ASMR is the GOAT. It's the GOAT. So this is why I haven't really changed my setup yet, because in a way it's like more functional to travel light and have that little bogus tripod and bogus mic, but it's also like sentimental value, the fact that this started it all. Because once that relationship is over, I mean, you start from scratch because you are hosting someone else through you. So you must find power in that to then recreate your identity and find yourself again. And if that scares you, if you feel like after experiencing that, you could not rebirth yourself and you would be hooked on that person forever, you would want that little person forever, and you misunderstood that all along it was you who gave them that power, then you will end up just chasing someone all of your life and wishing and hoping that they come back to you. And for a lot of people, it is scary to give away your whole identity to host someone else, make them live through you, and have that passion, that intense relationship where you both merge, become one, to then maybe one day have it destroyed. So not everyone is cut for the obsessiveness that is trending online. I don't know if you've seen the TikToks, but nowadays there seems to be more and more people looking for a partner who is completely obsessed with them. But I suspect that most of these people are not equipped to be equally as obsessed, willing to give up their whole life existence and identity for that other person. It is a selfish request to ask for someone to be completely obsessed with us if we are not fully ready to do the same. And I believe every couple has the same level of intensity, or must have the same level of intensity for it to work. Obsession is not the key word here. Obsession is simply the label that we attribute to that insane level of intensity, that level of intensity that is almost unbearable for a lot of people. I suspect that people who are chaotic by nature are not necessarily the problem. You know, people that love being consumed by something, losing their existence to someone else, are not necessarily the problem. The problem is that they're not fully aware of it and of their power, and they are giving it away to people who are not worthy of it at all. Now, am I promoting that everyone gets obsessed and start hosting other people's energy for the rest of their life? No. But hear this out. It's easier to accept yourself first than to try to change something because you know it's deemed unacceptable. If deep down you feel uncomfortable by your level of intensity, how much you love people, how much you care about them, it's perhaps because you've given it away to the wrong people, you've been made to feel like it's unacceptable, and you've understood that, okay, people are more chill. People are more toned down. People are not as intense as me. So what if I try to tone myself down and do the normal thing? And then in your heart, there's always this push and pull of you wanting to go all out. But, you know, we're working on it. We're becoming healthier. It's hard to heal something you haven't accepted yet and that you have shame about. Now, do you need to act on it to accept something? I don't know, because everyone is quite different. But I know that this energy of obsession, this intensity of being, is not the intensity of everyone. And for the people that truly have been struggling with it, giving it away to the wrong people, the wrong causes, the wrong interactions, the wrong jobs even, sometimes they feel like, damn, I'm the problem. Because I give so much and I get punched in the face so hard after. I don't get recognized for it. I don't feel like I'm understood. Matter of fact, I feel like I'm different. And yet, I don't understand what the problem is, really. And these people tend to think that they're just too much. And they spend their whole life trying to tone themselves down. Which, first of all, this is why I'm saying I think chaotic people exist. And I salute you all. Okay, sit down and welcome. I see you, I hear you. But truly, the people that I was referring to when I was saying what I was saying, they're not the one wishing for an obsessive person in their life, really. They're the ones that are trying to make themselves less because they haven't had success being the way that they are. They haven't accepted it yet. But I suspect that a lot of people who want obsessive relationships, or basically relationships where both of you guys don't exist, but you exist through each other, are not cut for it. They're not ready. They don't know what they're asking for. Because a lot of people are not ready to make the same sacrifice. And yes, it is a sacrifice. Now, with time, if that is truly your nature, you understand that it's all a choice and it's all about your consent. When you understand what you are doing, suddenly you're not afraid of what if it doesn't work, what if it ends, because you know that you live through the intensity of it being passionate and it being dead. What you crave is the intensity. It's not just maintaining that partner, right? Or else you would be someone who likes stability a little bit more. Now, I suspect also that this trend of wanting someone obsessed with us is simply to erase the fear of being cheated on, being left in the cold, being dumped. It's to soothe our own fears, our own limiting beliefs by proxy, which in that case, that's when healing is so important and acceptance is so important. And this is what links everyone together. No matter what kind of personality you have, at the core, there are things you don't accept. There are things you're trying to change that just need your attention and acceptance. And know that guy blowing up your phone every day, thinking about you every single day, is not going to fix you, because truly you're not broken. You're just bent. I'm kidding. I had to crack a little joke. This was getting too serious. But you're not broken. You're not weird. You are simply not aware of your gifts, and you are simply not aware of your greatness in all cases. Okay? If you're afraid of being cheated on, you know what I mean? It's because deep down you feel like it's a possibility. You feel like someone would do that to you. Perhaps it happened in the past, but you fear that pain. You don't want to feel that pain anymore. So, perhaps find someone who doesn't like pain as much. And it is certainly not going to be that obsessive guy, because he lives by it. He breathes it. Because pain and joy, at the end of the day, it's an intensity when you feel the emotion. Everyone has their intensity in life. And when you find your intensity, suddenly everything else becomes a detail. You know, pain, joy, fear, hopes. It's just at which level do you feel those? And then can you find your match on a vibrational level? You know what I mean? The person who has a lot of intensity and is obsessive and wants to live through you is not the person that is going to alleviate the intense fear of pain, because they can handle pain at such a high level that they're not afraid. Anxiety is afraid of them. Fear is afraid of them. Now, there's nothing wrong with any personality that I've named so far. Okay, someone who needs something more stable, more calm, more reassuring, more predictable, or someone who wants something super extreme, like please give me the pain, give me the joy. I need the extreme or else I'm bored. For some people, the boredom is I'm healing. I'm finally feeling like I don't need more. I'm not in a chase. I'm sufficient. And for others, if they're not mesmerized by life at every single second of their existence, might as well die. It's extreme, but these people are extreme. That's an example. At the end of the day, you should not wish for something. You should be it. And that's what I'm trying to say here. You should not hope for an obsessive person. Try to be obsessive yourself for a day and see how you deal with that. Is it really who you are? Focus on nurturing your own vibration and accepting whatever it is. That way, you will attract people that are on the same frequency. And that sounds a little bit woo-woo, but truly it's all about you taking action, responsibility, and awareness in your life. So that's becoming an adult, technically. It doesn't have to be boring. You just have to understand what you want and what you need and make it your mission to get there. I suspect that people who say that they want a clingy girlfriend 24/7 thinking about them is to alleviate a fear. It's to feel adored, having that attention. But keep in mind that this behavior, when it's given by someone, must be earned. Someone who is obsessed with you right away, is someone who is unaware of what is running them. They could be obsessed and they could be into the wall then, because they know as much about you as they know about the wall, how it's made. They could be obsessed about anything. They just picked you randomly. So it's not a compliment. It's not personal. We're not special because someone is obsessed about us. That's just how they are. And the faster they're obsessed with us for no reason, the less it has value. Because the less they're doing it from a place of power, assertiveness, and choice. And the more it's just coming from a place of, the energy is so strong, it's spilling out of me. I don't know what to do. This girl is cute. Let me just DM her 3 times a day, every day. You understand? It's like, it's a chaos that is untamed. Proper chaos is so precious that it can only be released in a frame where it's made for, where it's safe to, because it's so dangerous, it's so vulnerable. When all of you is invested in someone else, you don't exist. They exist through you and you exist through them. That's not something you can just decide the first Instagram model to be your partner for, just because they have cute pictures. It doesn't work like that. A lot of people like the idea of being obsessed over, but they don't like the idea of that same person 5-10 years down the road still coming to your door, still trying to find your address, still emailing you. Being obsessive by nature is not what makes it powerful, by the way. It's how responsible, aware, and calculated you are with it. And by the way, may I say that people who are predictable, love routine, stability, it's not better or worse than the other. It's just what's more socially acceptable. And I have tremendous respect for people who are self-aware and who are able to understand what they want, but also that they don't need to live through someone right away to understand themselves. You know what I mean? And basically, it's that even though you could be obsessive or you have an intense nature, you don't need to have that partner to finally be yourself. You could put it into your fitness, into your business, into your goals, into your music, into something that means a lot to you, into your family, into your friends. And so therefore, you don't need to wait for someone to give you permission to be. And when you find that person who is just as intense as you are, suddenly we understand that there's a little bit of an act here. You know what I mean? It's like we couldn't live without each other, but truly we could, because we've been doing it for all this time. We'll do it again. Suddenly it's just coming from a place of choice and not lack. But this is definitely a scenario that is not common, is rare, incredibly rare. But I had to touch on the idea of obsession that is trending on social media, because it is not cute to have someone harassing you from day one, willing to do anything for you, anything. Why me? Why so quick? Why, when you know nothing about me, you are willing to give it all away? Respect your power. Own your power. You should definitely wait and get to know me better before doing any of that stuff, to make sure that I qualify and that I make sure that you qualify. And the faster you accept yourself and your level of intensity in life, the easier it is to read people around and to automatically know if they're matching it or no. Don't try to change them. Don't try to make them as intense as you because you believe that they could, that they should. You are who you are. People are who they are. And this is why I love when people say, if you don't like someone for who they are when you meet them, don't even start with the cooking fabrication of, oh, maybe they can become this fantasy person that I really could like because they have the looks. But if I love them enough, they're going to change. Maybe if I do enough for them, they will not. They will resent you for it. Because how dare you try to change someone who is already unproblematic, unbroken, perfectly fine. In my opinion, people who are truly obsessive by nature and unaware of their power are so afraid of themselves that they're not. But this is off topic already. Here I am today wanting to talk to you about emotional intelligence and shame behind emotions. I'm gonna start with why it's important, I guess, and then drop a little personal story so you understand the authenticity of this message. And I'm not here to be a male advocate, like, not that I don't want to, but I'm not purposefully trying to appeal to men to heal them and save them. It just so happens that a lot of what I say, guys relate. And then I've collected some cool guys over time on here. But just so you know, it just happened, okay? It wasn't planned. It wasn't a trick pony, 2, 3, 4, 5. It happened. It is what it is. Okay, anyways. So now you know. So, okay, I said yes. We're going to say why first. Important to do it. Shame behind emotions. How it happened for me and how I healed it. And then maybe some bonus blah, blah, blah at the end if you care, if you like to watch my videos, more so as podcasts and just let them run. I think you'll be lucky with this one because I have quite a bit to say. And I feel like yet I've said nothing. I've just set the tone for us, but it's important because a lot of good communication actually requires that. So I hope you're comfortable and I hope you're ready. And let's get started. So why it's important to kill the shame around your emotions. One, because that makes you afraid of rejection. That makes you more susceptible to acting recklessly and losing control over yourself. It's something that can be given to our future kids too. So if you never heal it, you won't be aware, but it will be given to your kids down the line. It could also be a reason for bad relationships or relationships where there is a lot of arguments and a lot of toxicity. Sometimes it's just one of these reasons, sometimes it's all of these reasons combined. So now that we know why it's important to heal it, I would also like to add that in relation to yourself, and this is going to sound like a lot for a lot of people, but if you never heal your shame around emotions, you will never allow yourself to truly feel. And so your gut instinct is always going to be biased because you don't see your emotions as a part of your human nature and as a part of who you are. You see them as a downfall to yourself and you resent yourself for being human and just having this side to you. But when you heal the shame, your emotions don't have to be the leaders in your life. They can be great companions. They can make moments feel more worthy of experiencing. They can make the present moment feel even more amazing because you're in tune with it. But you will feel like you are getting closer and closer to your real purpose or your real mission because you're not ashamed of yourself anymore. And when you're ashamed of your emotions, you're also ashamed of a part of yourself. So therefore, by proxy, there's an internal shame that exists and that you don't have to carry. But there is such a pressure in society for men to be strong, to never feel emotions. And honestly, look in the comments of this video. There are going to be some guys still saying that, well, what do you know? You're just a woman, you're just a girl, and you don't understand. And maybe you're right. But at the end of the day, I have critical thinking, I have experiences, and emotions don't have genders. Social expectations for guys may be different, and I have a lot of empathy for that. But also, I'm not pretending to know exactly what being a guy is. I've told you that from the beginning. So take it with a grain of salt, okay? You're welcome to completely reject the message. But here is why I realized, or how I realized that I had shame around my own personal emotions. So for me, it was like a moment when I was a kid where I was crying and I was looking for comfort through my parent. And I had to hear and to digest, come back to me when you're a woman, stop crying. And I remember how this affected me. I was pretty young. I don't remember my age, but definitely after 4 years old and definitely before 8. So I was sad, I was crying, stop crying, come back to me when you're a woman. And I was far away from being a woman at this point. So I felt like I'll have to wait a long time. But when these things happen, you don't think, oh, this is altering the course of my decision-making processes. You just resist the feeling and you just take what's given to you as your own because you respect your parents so much. And because at the end of the day, your survival depends on them. And of course, everyone wants to be liked by their parents, I think, especially at a younger age. Everyone wants to be liked by their parents. So I took the advice and I did that. And it continued to manifest in my life where anytime I would cry or something would make me feel sad, and I had good reasons to, by the way, like someone stole something from me, someone insulted me, someone bullied me, whatever, I would feel so ashamed. I don't even know how to explain. It's like my friend would be next to me and she's like, it's okay, like you can cry. And I'm like, I'm keeping it in. And for me, this is my story, okay? So I'm not saying this is the truth for everyone, but there is so much power in sharing what we've been through. At the end of the day, tomorrow is not promised. And this message, I'm sure, will resonate with one person that needed to hear it, truthfully. But as a teenager, I started to feel more prideful because I saw my girlfriends and damn, it looked hard to allow yourself to feel. I saw the heartbreaks. I saw the deception, the pain. And I was afraid of the pain, technically speaking. But of course, you're not aware of these things. And I thought, well, I'm superior because I don't feel anything. So not anything completely, but I don't feel pain. So I'm making sure that I will never have to experience these situations that don't seem that fun. You know, I was kind of cherry picking how to be a human, but I'm not the one who put humans together. It's much more graceful to accept your nature and to work with what you are instead of resisting, feeling tense, suppressing, hiding. It's so stressful. But at the time, I remember I would feel like, oh, wow, you girls are so, well, my girlfriends, you are so invested in these guys and these breakups and just move on, like just do something else. And I thought that I was coming from a good place by saying that, but it was coming from a place of pure ignorance. Simply saying pure ignorance, 1,000%. I didn't know myself emotionally, and I didn't know how normal it was to feel these things. And while I had one parent, just to add on to the context, that would be super emotionally composed, never saw an inch of emotion, and please come back to me when you're a woman, kind of like awkward around emotions, I had this other parent, which was, if emotional was a person, that would be it. And I'm saying this, I hope you understand, with so much respect, gratitude, and love for my parents. I would pick them 1,000 times over again. I feel almost bad because I had the best parents in the world, not because they were perfect, but because the lessons they gave me made me who I am, and I just feel so lucky for them. So please don't feel sad. Don't pity what I'm about to tell you, because truthfully, there's no need for it. Absolutely not. So I had one parent that was the definition of emotional, so much so that I had to take charge of it a little bit. I was kind of like answering some questions very early on, like preteen, assisting emotions very early on, and man, it felt like a burden to me, like, wow. And I didn't know if what I was about to say was going to trigger a reaction. I felt like every time I said something, it would trigger an emotional reaction. And I almost felt guilty for it because it seemed painful. And I didn't want to be the one to trigger that. But that made me, first of all, super responsible and super emotionally aware. And this is why I like to give advice and I like to think about these things. I've always had to have that responsibility early on. It's not a fantasy. I didn't read a book and was like, this is what I want to talk about online. This is my life story. This is precious. This is love. What I'm doing right now is love. Not everyone will be able to understand it. Not everyone will be able to take it and use it, but it is love nonetheless, whether you understand it or not. This is why there's many different types of love languages. And for me, vulnerability is my main one. When someone is vulnerable with me, it means everything. Because I know how much of a risk it is. But anyway, side note. So coming back to my story, right? Basically being the one to be expected to support and reassure and be kind of the parent felt like a burden, and suddenly I didn't want any of it. So I decided to just go through life by suppressing as much as I could, and the feelings I would experience were not joy or sadness or anything of that nature. It was kind of just thrill seeking, intensity seeking, risk feeling, kind of like the adrenaline. That was my positive feeling. And the negative feeling would be kind of this, because of course there were times where I was feeling sad and I was feeling confused and I was just losing it. But I feel art really helped me so much that sometimes I didn't have to put words onto it. But while I was in this phase, I was not managing my relationships well, nor my friendships and nor my romantic relationships, because I was tapped out of the simplicity of being human. And I was trying to build myself to be this grandiose, kind of emotionless, just success-driven person who basically lives by dopamine highs and lows. And when I'm saying this, it feels like such a distant memory, but damn, I just want to hug this little girl like everything's going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. And I guess this is what I want to say to you. Now, the third part of this video, okay, I'm structured somehow, is how did I heal it? I hate when videos online just point out the problems and try to sell you the solution. I just hate it. So let me just give you the solution. Public service announcement. This was what helped me. I'm not saying it's going to help you specifically. I have no idea technically of your situation. So if it matches yours, beautiful. If it doesn't, no worries. So for me, there was a breaking point. Early 20s, and your early 20s are such an incredible time of realizations, because as you become older as a teenager, you think, I know everything in life. I'm it. I have the truth. And then the more you tap into adulthood, the more you realize that you knew nothing. So for me, it's hard even to say how I healed it. But I will say the main events that helped me realize that I was living a lie towards myself emotionally, and it was affecting the rest of my life. First of all, I was not going for my best outcomes in life. So I always was supported by, my mother specifically telling me, you are an artist, Masha, you are an artist. But because it was me, I was like, no, the answer must be elsewhere, because it's not me. It must be what's challenging, what's difficult. Because when you don't feel your full range of emotion, your natural range of emotion, you live through adventure, thrill, challenges, risk, these very extreme emotions to feel something. And for me, challenging myself all the way was my way of feeling proud of myself and feeling like I've accomplished something, But by being myself, what is the challenge? I'm already myself. Yet little did I know, I was about to discover a couple years later that this was the answer to everything. And this is why you get this video today. I get to say it, and I feel so much love saying this, and that I understand how important it is. But I started to realize that I was going against my best outcomes. I was fighting myself a lot. There was kind of a lack of awareness in my relationships. And it got me to a point of loneliness where you can't even trust yourself. You can't even trust your choices because you're not rooting for yourself. You're not trying to make yourself happy. What do you know about happiness? Truly, what do you know about yourself? I think there was this moment of, holy shit, I've lived my life for someone else all along, but I don't know who it is because I have such amazing parents that don't expect me to become like a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever they want me to be. But yet I put that pressure on myself. What am I running away from? And I had a moment when I realized that one day, well, of course, I realized much earlier on, but that my parents will die. That was kind of a starting point. I realized my parents will pass one day. And when that happens, I want them to know everything. I want them to know how I felt. I want them to understand the miscommunication. I want them to understand why I am the way that I am. And I had real conversations with my parents that led me to start my work. And while I worked on myself, I took a break from dating completely. Matter of fact, I've chosen to be celibate for a couple years in my early adulthood because I knew that I was not able to give anything to anyone because I wasn't giving anything to myself. I was trying to build myself to run away from my empty sense of self. You know, what can I give someone? I don't even give myself what I deserve, the life that I deserve. I was stuck in the rational aspect of my mind where what I believe is right for me is better than how I was built through life and through challenges. I was deluded in my own sense of grandiosity and self-importance and wanting to appear more than being. And when I got into that point of isolation, of not dating for a couple years, suddenly there's no one to impress. There's no one to show off to. And you realize how empty you are, how sad you are. And for me, although this sounds like sad, it was my first time tapping into sadness in an authentic way. And when that happened, I allowed it to be. And I'm not gonna lie, it was like the hardest couple years of my life. That was probably 2 years of just intense self-work combined with isolation. And then there's lockdown that's happening. So you can imagine that it was extremely challenging. And side note, this is why I've always kind of spoken about this online. Even though I wasn't an expert, I just felt like this journey is so precious. Surely there's someone that can benefit from it. But now I feel composed enough to look at the bigger picture and give you kind of what I figured out. So that's what helped me. Arriving to a point where I was so low that I could only go up. Seriously, I was so low. I could only go up. My values were all messed up. What I was thinking was important was not important at all. I was disconnected from my family, disconnected from myself, disconnected from my friends. And I feel like having this moment where you allow yourself to be depressed, like really for the first time in your life, at least for me, I'm going to speak for myself, it was kind of the gift that I gave myself. And I think that lasted for a couple months, perhaps like a year of feeling like everything was difficult, truthfully. And I had to even tell my friends, like, look, I'm feeling this way. I'm not going to be like the joyful person that you know, but I love being around you, and I just want to be around you more, and I hope that you still want to be around me, even though I feel this way and I feel like I have nothing to offer right now. And having these friends, you know, opening up to them, reaching out for help in a way, but also allowing them to see me at what it was I felt was worthless, and seeing that it had worth, gave me proof that I don't need any bonus gratification to be excellent, to be a great friend, to be worthy. Your presence is enough. At least that's how I understood my presence was enough. Now, I did some art therapy, you know, for a couple months, and it was cool. Do I suggest it? Yes. I did some regular therapy. It was cool. Do I suggest it? Yes. But we'll do a different video on kind of like how to regulate and how to self-help, because honestly, what was my big thing was self-help. It was reading, watching videos of a lot of people that I respect, sharing their own experiences and feeling less alone. And at the end of the day, this is why I don't have a proper answer to give you, but just hope that if I healed it, you can. And today I'm someone who is so fulfilled with nothing, because I know that I need nothing, and that all along it was inside of me, and the gift was always being myself. And it's funny because once you stop chasing some BS, you have more time to feel and to be present and to love. And life is so amazing, it really is, but it's not amazing because of anything else but your own sense of self-acceptance, self-love, and self-actualization. We'll do a separate video on like goals and how I personally realized that everything else in life was going to be a bonus, but I don't need any of it to feel happy. And I'm wondering, I'm sitting here thinking, is there anything else that I could share? Cry a lot, because you'll have to process everything you have hidden from yourself all these years. Don't wait a day more. I had to make up for so many years, and still to this day, sometimes I'll just chill with a friend and they'll say something that reminds me of that one thing, and I feel something and I have to let it go now because I'm committed to myself, my human nature, my emotions. But you know what? The real gift is that when that happens with a friend and they're here and they're authentically there for me and I'm authentically there for them, whatever I'm feeling helps them. It's crazy. There's like a synchronicity. When you are processing something with someone you love, there's something in there for them that you don't even realize. There's something in there for them that you don't even know they needed. But when you do things for yourself, you heal people around you. It's insane. Insane. I think I realized that I don't have shame around my emotions anymore at that moment. There was not a moment where I decided. It's just a repetition of being vulnerable around my friends, sharing how I feel, establishing my boundaries, doing the work, thinking for myself, and feeling without thinking, which is so, so, so important. I think I'll do like a 1, 2, 3 on how to release emotions, perhaps like a meditation. I just have so many ideas. But I'll do a little 1, 2, 3 to help you. Not because you need my help, but because my experience is valuable. Doesn't matter what people say. I know it is. And this is why I'm making this video. Because I feel like we would be much better friends, much better partners, much better boss, much better public figures if we understood that we're just human And there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to run away from. And that our flaws are what make us so beautiful. And that the right person will never judge you for your past, for your intensity level with your emotions, for your challenges to accept yourself. There's not one person, there's not the one, okay? I want to point it out. There's not one person that is meant for you and you're going to